How's it going, YouTube? Yeah, Pat Mack here, coach of the Sacramento Saints / bringing you our draft analysis for Season 4 of the UPBA. This is a singles Wi-Fi draft league that I'm really looking forward to. It's got a really big group of coaches. I think there's like 50 billion or something like that. Basically, like everybody who plays Wi-Fi is playing in it, or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of people. Is what I'm trying to say. And they end up splitting it up into two divisions. You can see the draft order at the bottom of our screen here. So you can see our logo, first pick. Very excited for that. And then there's, I didn't even count how many coaches there were. Like 20? I mean, it was like 20. No, 16? 16. Yeah, there's 16. Anyway, a lot of coaches. Yeah, so they end up splitting us into two groups. Some more background information about the league. This is actually like a semi-Ubers league. They don't have some of the like big powerful ones. So like I did BBL, and Lugia was an option, and like Ho was an option, and like Lunala and Marshadow. Like those Pokemon are not here. But we do have Pokemon like Magearna or Kyurem Black or Genesect. Reshiram, right? Those are all Pokemon that are included in the tier list here, which is, well, it's abnormal, right? Like you don't actually see that very often. And so this is like kind of from a power level perspective, just to give you a sense of it, it's like in between BBL and like YCL. So if you're thinking about leagues that I've done in the past, it's kind of in between that power level here. Yeah, so like very powerful Pokemon, very excited for this one. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. We had 115 points. You can see the budget there at the top, and the highest point total mon was 25 points. So like the budget is, in my opinion, it's a little bit more restrictive than some leagues I've been in, but honestly, I think we end up coming up with a really good team. I'm really excited to use it for this season. And yeah, anyway, so let's talk about the team. So first pick, I mean, I'm first pick, right? So I have all the options in the world, and I ended up deciding to go for Dialga here. Dialga, Pokemon I've used in the past, right? So if you've been following the channel for a little bit, I used Dialga in TGR season 2, I think 2, TGR season 2. And yeah, I absolutely love them on. Now, TGR is a doubles, it was a VGC league, so I've never used Dialga in singles, and so I definitely wanted to try it out because I love Dialga so much when I was playing VGC, and yeah, it just has so many different options, like obviously crazy stats. I don't know if I need to necessarily go into that. Like, it's just a really good Pokemon. Steel and Dragon are obviously really powerful types. You throw the two of those together, and there's only a handful of weaknesses that that Dialga has. I think it's like ground and fighting. I think that's it. And like we have Ice Beam. I don't know if we have a way to hit fighting types, but you know, we'll figure out ways to deal with that. And then like ground. Yeah, like I said, we have Ice Beam for that to deal with those kind of types, so they can't necessarily switch in. And yeah, I mean, this Pokemon can take a hit from most things. It gives us rocks right away, which is really nice. So like a lot of really powerful options. It can just be like a crazy breaker for us. It can just switch in and kind of have leftovers recovery. It's got a handful of setup threats. I think it's got like bulk up, and I used Iron Defense in one of my TGR restricted league games. And yeah, like that was a really cool set too. I had like Iron Defense Body Press or something like that. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm really excited to use this Pokemon. It's one that I'm somewhat familiar with from a doubles league standpoint, but not necessarily singles. So one of the like nice parts about first pick is that you get to pick whatever you want, right? Like nobody can snipe you. The downside of that is when you look at how many other picks happen in between. Yeah, so there was a long time for me to wait. When it came back to me, I had back-to-back picks, and so I ended up going with Primarina and Latios. And Primarina and Latios I thought was a really nice combination. It worked really well with Dialga, just from like a typing standpoint. both of Latios and Primarina do a great job of dealing with any fighting types. So we can kind of help to break for our Dialga a little bit. And then I liked Latios a lot because we just didn't have to worry about those ground attacks. So I thought Latios paired really nicely. I think this is the first time I've drafted Double Dragon, but I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to be really fun. And I thought Primarina was kind of a nice mon to add along with those. 13 points was... I mean, we spent a lot of points at the beginning, right? You can see after 3 points, we've used like almost half of our budget, right? So yeah, so we have to be a little more careful about how we spend our points for the rest of the draft. So I definitely kind of made that jump down and look for some options lower on the point total. But this gives us, like, Latios gives us some more speed, Primarina gives us a little bit slower mode, and both mons have momentum. Technically, Latios has Baton Pass. I don't know how much we'll be using it, but yeah, I mean, we have options with this team, and I'm pretty excited for that. But I think those 3 Pokemon paired together so nicely. Not even just from, like, Fairy, Dragon, Steel Core, but just, like, in terms of typings and, like, coverage that they have. One thing that is, like, potentially a downside is that all 3 of these Pokemon are primarily special attackers. It would have been potentially nice, maybe in hindsight I could have gone like a Azumarill instead of Primarina, but I do value the momentum that we get from Primarina. So just kind of something that I'm keeping in mind here too. Anyway, so I thought that this team, like the start of it, I really like. I have a... Yeah, I'm really excited to use it, essentially. And yeah, so my next pick, again, long wait, and I am going for Roserade and Rotom Heat. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to grab both of these months. I used Rotom Heat a little bit in the CGT, and Roserade is a Pokemon that I've been wanting to use for quite a while. So this gives us some more speed, some more variety in terms of our speed. Which I really liked, and it gives us some more hazard control, which is really good here. Latios Primarina didn't necessarily help us with that, but to add on to rocks from Dialga, we have Spikes and T-Spikes from Roserade, and Defog from Rotom Heat. So we have more options there, which I think is really cool. And we add to our momentum with Rotom Heat, which I thought was a nice combination to have along here too. And yeah, I mean, the 2 of these Pokemon kind of do a great job of like adding on to, I guess you could say we have like a fire, water, grass core with the Primarina, so we kind of fill out that core too, which isn't something that I necessarily care about specifically when I'm drafting, but I mean, these Pokemon just from a typing standpoint are kind of nice together, even if it's like not necessarily like thinking about like fire, water, grass as like the main thing. I think that they just work kind of nicely together. One thing I kind of like here is that like our grass type doesn't resist ground, but we do have double levitate mons with Rotom Heat and Latios. So that's kind of a nice thing to have as an option here. So I really liked that I could get a ground type that wasn't weak to, or not ground type, I could get a rock type, I could get a fire type that wasn't weak to ground. Because our grass doesn't resist it, you know? So definitely something that I was keeping in mind as drafting this team. And like I personally kind of feel so about the like grass poison types, just because I do like to have those ground resists, but we have double ground immunities, you know? So like that's kind of a nice option to have for the team. Yeah, so I like those as options. Now, I think I mentioned earlier about Latios and Primarina and Dialga being primarily special attackers. As you can see, I grabbed Rotom, Heat, and Roserade, also special attackers. I don't think I had noticed at this point in the draft that I had only special attackers. Like, when I grabbed Rotom, Heat, and Roserade, it was like after I picked these 2, I was looking at my team and was like, if everybody just brings Assault Vest, I might just lose. Like it was or like breaking through like high special defense mons, like I don't know what's a gosh, like a Blissey or something like that would be potentially hard for this team, right? Just with the 5 picks we have so far. Don't get me wrong, right? Latios has Psyshock, so we could kind of do it there. But like, say they had a Psychic type that had super good SpDef. Like, Psyshock isn't going to do that much because it's resisted. So definitely something that I was kind of keeping in mind as I made my next 2 picks. And because of that, I ended up going with Sneasel and Mudsdale. So again, like, we needed physical offense. I wanted to get that defensive option with Mudsdale and add another rocker so that Dialga wasn't our only one. So definitely something I was thinking about when I was grabbing these 2. And then also speed. I was noticing that Latios was our fastest Pokemon. And I wanted something to kind of bump a little above Latios so that we didn't only have 1 Pokemon over 100 speed. I thought Sneasel kind of fit that role pretty nicely here. And yeah, and like offensive ice types are really nice. I've used Sneasel a little bit in the past, and yeah, I mean, it's carried me through a handful of games from YCL, and I really like them on. I mean, Baby Weavile is pretty good. It's kind of the thought process there. And then I haven't used Mudsdale before, but I know it's a strong Pokemon. Yeah, I mean, we wanted to get a ground type at some point, and this seemed like a pretty good place to pick it up while also picking up some like defensive options and offensive options, and just kind of giving us a little bit more physical breaking power, because again, with those first 5 picks, like, we don't really have that. And so, which is why, like, in this next pick, I wanted to make sure I got some more physical offense. So Braviary was something that I was looking at here. We get some more hazard options with Klefki. Klefki is also really nice because it gives us some screens here so that we have some options for setup, like Primarina Calm Mind, for example. We could do like Bulk Up Dialga, we could do Dragon Dance or Calm Mind Latios, we could do Swords Dance Sneasel. I think you get the point. Like, we have some options in terms of setup here, and so having Klefki here is really nice as well. I think one thing that I was also considering was, I think previous to this pick, our Fairy Resist. I don't think we had one yet, or like Rotom Heat was the only one, I guess. And oh no, I guess we had Rotom Heat and Roserade. Why did I really want Klefki? I don't remember why I really wanted Klefki. I am glad it came down to this pick, but I think like the screens option's kind of nice, like Prankster, some Defog is good too. Yeah, I think the steel typing that resisted Fairy, I think, was really nice here, and was definitely something I was considering while I picked Klefki. It of course also has its own options for setup sets too, which is really cool. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to use Klefki. It was a mon that I was planning on getting in a different draft league. I forget which one. I do so many now. They all kind of blend together a little bit. So I don't 100% remember why Klefki was super important for me to pick up here. But I do like it. I think that it works really nicely here to give me some more hazard options, to give me some more removal, to give me those options to help my team set up. And then Braviary is kind of a more physical breaking power was the main thought process behind that. Obviously, of course, we get another ground immunity because we get that flying type. So that part's kind of nice too. I definitely wanted a normal type too. Our like Sneasel being our dark type just means that we don't have a good like a good ghost resist per se. Like Sneasel will offensively pressure ghosts, but we don't really have anything that can defensively switch in. I think Braviary totally can. Like, it has its own recovery with Roost, so it can pull off defensive sets if the matchup calls for it. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to use both of these mons, and yeah, they both have a lot of options, I think. Now we are still kind of a little light on physical breakers. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we have those 5 special attackers, and then Klefki. Well, I think Klefki can do either one, but I often think of it as a special attacker. But like Mudsdale, Sneasel, Braviary, like those are kind of our 3 offensive physical threats. So I definitely wanted to get some more of those, which is why we rounded out our draft with both Passimian and Cressel. I am super hyped to use Cressel. I've used Passimian in the past, and don't get me wrong, like, love that mon. I think it's really, really cool. But Cressel, I am so hyped to use this thing. It's got Shell Smash, which is super exciting. It's got hazard stacking options too. If I remember, I think it has rocks. I don't remember if it has spikes too. it might not have spikes. I think it might only have rocks. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited to use Cressel in particular, just because like it's a Pokemon you don't see very often, and this league is super high power too. So I'm really hoping that I can find a way to use Cressel and bring it into some of these matchups where like these Pokemon are super strong, and you can see the point value there for Cressel, right? The 3.1 is not particularly expensive, so it's definitely a lower power option, but I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to use. But it being like kind of a slower Pokemon, we can potentially catch some people off guard with a Shell Smash set. Yeah, and I think that would be really cool. I think from a typing standpoint, I don't remember how well it fared from a typing standpoint. I'd have to like look at the doc that I used to keep track of all that stuff. But I didn't do that before recording this, so I'm not gonna worry about it right now. But yeah, I think Cressel's gonna be pretty cool. And then Passimian, we needed more physical breaking power. I've used Passimian in the past as like I've used Choice Scarf, I've used Banded, I don't think I've tried using a setup Passimian. Maybe that's something I try here. But yeah, just gives us some really like heavy breaking power, which is nice. We also, I don't think I mentioned this with Braviary, but we have Defiant on Braviary, and then we also have Defiant on Passimian. So, and we also have very good hazard options. Really good hazard options, I think. Like we have Spikes and T-Spikes on Roserade, we have Spikes on Klefki, we have Rocks on Dialga, Rocks on Mudsdale, Rocks on Crustle. So like our hazards are really good. And if we can force teams to defog and like make the big brain play and bring in Braviary or Passimian, like that could be really sweet. Yeah, because then those Pokemon will just like pop off there, and I think that would be pretty exciting. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited to use this team. Yeah, so let's like go ahead and take a look at the full team here. Yeah, I think this team is going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to use it. Just the options it has, I think, are really nice. I think our speed tiers are fairly good. And yeah, I'm really excited to use it in this kind of high power league. I mean, the coaches are really good here. It's going to be really exciting. I think I mentioned earlier that this is a Friday upload league. Oh, geez. I hope I remember that right. I think this is a Friday upload league. And so, yeah, if you want to stick around and see some more of our content, more of this team being used, then definitely check it out. Stick around, like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one.